This video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of Ascension Timeline Shifting, showing you how you cannot get left behind, the truth about what that really means, and why this is the time of awakening on the planet and ascending to higher levels of consciousness. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of understanding Ascension Timeline Shifting, understanding that there are many different probable realities that we can experience from now moving forward. And the degree to which parallel reality ascension timeline we are on will depend upon our vibration. Now the thing is as we go through this shift in consciousness, and if you don't know already, there's a shift in consciousness that's happening on the planet. More and more people are becoming aware of who they are. They're understanding that they are spiritual beings, live in temporary human experiences. And people are waking up. It's kind of like popcorn. It starts off kind of slow. It's like pop, pop, pop. And then eventually, a couple seconds later, if it's in a microwave or somewhere else, because microwaves aren't the best, but it's like pop, 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 pop. We're at the pop, 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 and it'll probably get more poppy as well. Because there'll be so much popcorn going on, because so many people are waking up. That is incredible. And this ascension means this waking up. Well, when we wake up, we also raise our vibration. And as we raise our vibration, we become in this higher emotional state of consciousness. We start to feel more love, joy, bliss. We start to also, more of our abilities come on board. We become more what is called telepathic or telepathy. We develop the ability to really feel and understand what people are saying without them really saying that much words. And already anyways, over 93% of communication is nonverbal. So it's like that extra 7% will make us telepathic. But it's about understanding that we have so much more ability once we start to tap into this, that also ascension, part of ascension will be us raising our vibration and being able to perceive of beings that are also of that higher vibration, what we call extraterrestrial, which have been around for thousands of years, by the way. However, we're becoming more aware of our connection to them, more aware of our multidimensionality, that we exist here right now, but we exist at many different levels at the same time. And every single night, you go to bed. When you go to bed, you wake up in these higher states of consciousness. And you know that when you're there, but when you wake up in the morning, you forget it because of this veil of forgetfulness. So as this awakening happens, there'll be certain things that happen on the planet. One of them will be that certain structures fall apart. The old structures of the government, there'll be old belief systems that fall apart. And they have to fall apart because it's almost like a sandcastle. And you can't build a sandcastle on top of a sandcastle. You gotta first kind of wipe away that sandcastle so you have a foundation to build a new sandcastle. Well, in the same way, you may notice that the old government, the way of going about things, isn't necessarily working anymore. And because it's not working, it's like it has to fall apart for new things to build up. Well, in the same way, as far as these ascension shifting timelines go, there will be certain structures that fall away, and there will be this opportunity for us to shift from what is called a 3D, 4D, into a 5D level of consciousness. 3D level of consciousness is that old political way of going about things. It's being Republican or Democrat, left, right, good, bad, light, dark. This polarity, this duality, this attachment to our senses, thinking that we are our ego. A lot of times in 3D reality, there's a big level of control. And there's been control on this planet for thousands of years. But we're starting to gain our power back. And that's why we came here. We knew that this is going to be a powerful experience for us to have, that we're going to be able to wake up from this mass hypnosis of dream. And we're waking up right now. So the 3D reality is going to continue to fall apart. We're going to become more aware of who we are as spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. And part of this will have to do with us starting to exist in a higher state of consciousness. Now, in this higher state of consciousness that we could call 4 or 5D reality, things manifest so much faster because our vibration has risen. Also, we realize that life is a form of dream. And because of that, life becomes more dreamlike because our beliefs create our reality. We realize that we can become more connected to our heart. We realize in the 4D reality that things are more about vibration. Whereas in the old 3D reality, it's all about linear time-space reality. This is the beginning, this is the end, and we try to do things from there. So this new paradigm that we're moving into is more of being connected to our heart, being connected to other people, realizing that other people are still connected to us. So you wouldn't do something to someone else that you wouldn't do to yourself. These are perspectives we start to get in 4 and 5D reality. It's a level of consciousness. It's a higher level of consciousness. 5D reality is about really living in unconditional love. And that, I believe, is going to be a potential in our lifetime. Might seem a little far-fetched right now, but as we go through this change, it is exponentially raising our vibration. So you become more in the present moment. You'll feel more love in your heart. You'll feel more connected to other people. We'll have abilities that we just think are magical. We will literally start to have those abilities. We'll be able to let go of karma. These are all things that are happening on these ascension timelines. Now, here's the thing about getting left behind. Here's the truth. Everyone has within them our collective consciousness. Now, this is what happened back in 2012. In 2012, many people on the planet believed that we're going through the spiritual awakening, that we were going to ascend at the end of 2012, December 21st, and that we were going to move into a new state of consciousness. David Wilcock, some very credible people believe this, including myself. I thought that there was going to be, at some level, some form of raise in vibration to where we didn't have to perceive of the old 3D reality the same anymore. I thought it was going to be more literal, when in fact it was more symbolic. So after that happened, I was like, okay, what's going on here? It's December 22nd, you know what I mean? But here's the thing. There are many different timelines for this ascension. And what we decided as a collective at that time was that we were going to go on a longer route of this ascension. A longer route. Now, this longer route was also, the purpose of it was so that everyone, more and more people, could go on this ascension timeline. Now, which ascension timeline will you experience? Well, in general, there is a bubble. You could think of it like a temporal bubble around all of us to how quickly we can raise our vibration. Not to say that it's impossible to raise up to enlightenment or anything, but in general, think of it like there's a bubble around you, an ascension bubble around every single person. And some people are at different levels than others. However, there's a certain bubble of how fast you can move up. And those bubbles are necessary so that we all stay on the same page. So we don't all, in a way, completely leave the game. Because we all chose to be here right now to go through this collective shift in consciousness. Never before has a planet that is in this level of free will, where we completely forget who we are. There's a veil of forgetfulness. Never before has a planet with 7.5 to 8 billion people had the ability to transmute and to ascend together in this way, in body. There have been certain civilizations in the past, like the Mayans, that were able to do it as a collective group. However, there weren't 7.5 billion people there to do that. There are people, and there is literally so much attention on Earth right now because of this ascension that's happening, this raising vibration. And it is the place to be. And being here right now is amazing. If you knew how bad you wanted to be here right now, you'd wake up every day excited, be going through this transformation. You'd be running around like, I'm ascending, I'm raising my vibration, this is awesome. That's probably how you would be. But in actuality, it's just that we don't know that because we forget that. But here's the thing. When I'm talking about these ascension timelines, as time continues to go by faster and faster, maybe you notice it, time is speeding by so incredibly fast. Well, what's happening is these timelines are collapsing. The moment is becoming now. Now is all that exists. Now. And the old time-space reality way of thinking about it as past, present, and future is becoming more and more irrelevant. And we're starting to become more aware of this. Now, what's going to continue to happen is there are different ascension timelines that you can experience depending on your vibration. It depends on which vibration you're in. There are more optimal ascension timelines, and there are less optimal ascension timelines. However, the one you experience will be up to you and your vibration. And the way you change that is you change on the inside. You raise your own vibration. You realize the truth, that you are a high vibrational divine being, and that you don't have to identify with your thoughts. You don't have to identify with the old 3D structures anymore. Now, Dolores Cannon in her books, 17 books, talks about, she was a hypnotherapist. She had a technique called the QHHT technique, quantum healing hypnosis technique, taking people into the deepest levels of brainwave activity. And what they would do is they would be in their higher self would come through, and you could ask any question you want, like, why did this person incarnate at this time? Who is this person in your life? Why did you have this relationship with your dad? Blah, 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 blah. All stuff like that. And answers would come through. She did this with thousands and thousands of people. And one of the consistent things were that I chose to be here for this shift in consciousness happening on the planet. I chose to be here for this level of awakening. I choose to be here for this great awakening. From people, thousands of people all over the world that didn't know each other were saying this in their QHHT sessions. Well, what is going on? Well, this is what I was talking about when it comes to Ascension Timelines. Now, here's something else that came through. That there was going to be this split. This 3, 4, 5D split. Which really was like a 3 to a 5D split. Because you could say fourth dimension is the dimension of time. But what they said was that, a lot of people said this, there was going to be this 3 to 5D split. Now, this 3 to 5D split is, thinking of it like, the way they described it is like there's two Earths. There's the old Earth and the new Earth. And eventually it gets to a point to where it splits off. And some people go over here and some people go over here. Now, this is the timeline ascension shifting timeline I'm talking about. There's different timelines. However, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. This is not about physically you going to this earth and you going to this, someone else going to this earth. What about my friends? What about my family? Are they going to go over here or here? What about the animals? First off, animals are going to, like, ascension is natural for them. It's us humans with this rational thinking, logical mind, and, you know, how we hold grudges. Animals don't do that. Lion chases them and they get away. They're like, okay, they're eating, grazing, and their cortisol levels go down and they're drinking in the water. 20 minutes later, I don't know why I was going that direction, but yeah, anyways, when it comes to this process, these two Earths that I'm talking about, these ascension shifting timelines, are metaphors. What will happen is, as you raise your vibration, you will only begin to perceive of people that are of a similar vibration. Doesn't mean they died and went to another planet. Although in the law of one and certain channeled material it says that that is a possibility, but I believe that this is something that we have agreed to at a mass level. However, these different ascension timelines, it's more of a metaphor. Imagine you raising your vibration so much because you're going through ascension, you're doing the inner work, that kind of old friends start to fall away. Not that they died and went to another planet, they don't resonate anymore. And you find that because they don't resonate anymore, it just doesn't work out. It's like, oh, let's go hang out here, let's go do this, and it just doesn't work out over and over and over again. Because you're shifting your vibration. Imagine you start to do what you're passionate about, and you embody that more and more, and it's a different timeline that you start to go on. A much better timeline. Now, the old structures will still be there. You can still turn on the news and look and whatever is going on, but eventually as timelines go on, as time goes on and as we shift timelines, there may eventually become a reality where the old news isn't the old news anymore. It starts to shift and we don't pay attention to it anymore, and literally, in a way, it falls out of our reality due to vibrational resonance. So in a way, there is this splitting of parallel realities that's going to continue to happen. And you will find yourself in proportion, in relationship with people that are of the similar vibration, but depending upon your beliefs about it, if you say this is doom and gloom, this is horrible, all of this stuff is falling apart, you will experience that 3D reality. If you understand though, and if you're here right now, you're one of those people that understand that there's an awakening going on, then you can be grounded and present and know that it serves a purpose. And you can exist in that 5D level of consciousness, and you can be in a high vibrational state. And these other people in 3D may look at you and go, why is that person so confident? Why are they being like that? Why are they not freaking out like we are? And you're going to be a lighthouse for them, helping tether them to the 5D reality. So the thing is there's no fear here. I like how that rhymes. There's no fear here. When it comes to 3D reality, 5D reality, in this ascension timeline split, you can go back and forth. There's still a bridge. But as time goes on, you may stop going over that bridge so much. It may be like, I don't feel like going over to that 3D reality and engaging in that news and all that stuff going on. And you'll choose to be in the higher vibrational state. In the higher vibrational state, there's also better timeline options. So in a way, it's a little bit of a this and this. You can still go back if you choose to, but you won't choose to. You won't be able to perceive of it. Your vibration just won't be able to tolerate it. It's almost like it'll drain your energy. And you'll be in this 5D state, this 5D reality. In this 5D reality, let me tell you some of the things that are probable to happen as well. When it comes to ascension, if you guys have ever heard of Bashar, channeled by Daryl Anka, amazing channel, been around for over 30 years. He has been saying for over 20 years now that the highest degree of probability that we have contact with extraterrestrials is between the year of 2025 to 2033. That's the highest degree of probability, which once again, I say this in every video I talk about this, doesn't mean that they land on the White House lawn and the CNN and Fox News are covering it. It means for the people that are ready for it, the people that want to engage with higher dimensional beings that are also connected to us, they're other aspects of us, that in that time window is when that starts to open up and that starts to be possible, which means maybe you are a part of that timeline. But there'll still be people in the 3D world that don't perceive of it. But you see, that is something that is possible and becomes more probable as you work on your own vibration. You see, ET connections is a part of this ascension. It is an opportunity, at least. Doesn't mean you have to, want to talk, but understand there are higher dimensional beings that are connected to us. We are all multidimensional. We think, oh, I'm just this physical earth body. We are multidimensional. We exist at many different levels at the same time. We have existences on these extraterrestrial planets in higher dimensions. They're in higher dimensional states of consciousness. We are here in 3, 4, 5D reality right now, but we also have existences in 5, 6, 7D. And those, when we go to bed at night, we're actually more awake in those states of consciousness. So everything I'm sharing with you right now when it comes to these ascension shifting timelines is about understanding there's this general bubble that we're all within, and we can move and we can raise our vibration as quickly as we are ready. But the key to it is knowing that what are you going to engage in, and are you going to do the inner work yourself? Let go of the old 3D concepts. Let go and complete the past. When you complete the past, you no longer have to repeat the past. And the more you do the inner work, the higher ascension timeline you will be on. And then you'll be a lighthouse for the people in the 3D reality. But understand right now, these are all different probabilities that exist. No need to be fearful. You're not going to get left behind. It's about understanding that was a big misconception with some of the interpretation of this whole ascension timeline type thing. But understand it's a time of awakening, it's a time of remembering, and we can be on the ascension timeline we want by engaging with the people we want to engage with, by doing the activities, thinking the thoughts, feeling the emotions of what we want, by doing the inner work. So that is what can happen in this lifetime. Set the intention that you connect more to your heart, that you live in this, and you will begin and be on that optimal timeline anyways, and eventually we'll all be talking telepathically, we'll be chilling, doing magical things, manifesting instantly. That's coming up eventually. But for now, let's enjoy the moment. We chose to be here, it's exciting to be here, and we're able to more so be here now. Be here now. So, something else that I have right now, I thought I would go ahead and let you all know, is the new podcast has launched. And in the new podcast episode, there's a whole hour-long episode on twin flames. People have been asking me about this all the time. And there is the first episode on that podcast you will see is on twin flames. If you do me a huge favor and subscribe to it on iTunes and review it, that would mean the world to me. Also, I'll be posting daily content there as well on the podcast, so you'll be able to see stuff there. And there's longer form podcast episodes as well. Other than that, something else I have is my Instagram. I do live Q&As kind of often, so if you want to ask me questions, you can do so here. I also post twice a day there, native content to Instagram. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification here so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.